guys, welcome back to my channel, the best place to be wherever you are on your wealth journey right now. Today I want to talk about New Year's resolutions versus goal setting, because now is the kind of time of year when we're all ready to say goodbye and probably good riddance to 2020 and start thinking about what we want to achieve for ourselves next year in 2021. Most of us will set New Year's resolutions for ourselves at around about this time of the year with the intention of keeping them up for the whole of the following year. But very sadly, most of us that set New Year's resolutions actually end up breaking those resolutions by the 1st of February. I thought it might be a good idea to explore exactly why that might be and see whether there's a better way, a way to be successful throughout the year next year. When we set a New Year's resolution, it can often seem a little bit pie in the sky, if you like. Let's look at the old classic resolution, I want to lose weight. Everybody goes into the new year thinking to themselves, I want to lose weight, I'm going to do amazingly this year, I'm going to join a gym, and that's exactly what they do. They end up going and joining their local gym. Of course, they all have promotions at this time of year, so it's a great time to be joining a gym if that's what you're going to do. And then of course January comes around and you drag yourself out of bed for the first couple of weeks, maybe 3 times a week, you go to the gym, you start feeling great about yourself. But of course the problem with January is that it's dark and it's cold and it's wet outside, and eventually you wake up one morning thinking, well, shall I go to the gym today, or actually shall I just stay here and be all cosy in bed for an hour instead? And you end up doing that, and slowly but surely your resolution fades, and then you end up thinking to yourself, oh well, never mind, there's always next year. So how do we actually deal with that then? Well, the best thing to do is, rather than make a New Year's resolution that you really know deep down that you're not going to be able to keep up for the whole year, is instead to set yourself a goal. Now in this example we're talking about a health goal, I want to lose weight, but what I recommend is that you look at all different life areas when planning your goals for the year. Now 2 weeks ago I did a video on the Freedom Mastery Law of Attraction Planner, which I'm going to put up here so you can have a watch of that if you haven't done so yet. And this planner is brilliant because right at the beginning it gets you to set out your goals against your different life areas. So what are the life areas then? Well, let's have a look. We've got spirituality, personal growth, relationships, career and business, fun and recreational goals, money, family and health. Now I want to talk a little bit about these life areas before we go back to our example of losing weight. So first of all I wanted to touch on the life area of spirituality, because a lot of people worry about spirituality. They think to themselves, oh goodness, do I have to start going to church or something? But actually, no you don't. I mean, for those of us that follow or practice a religion, spirituality can certainly come into that religion, but it doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all. People can find spirituality all over the place, including things like going for a lovely countryside walk. You can find spirituality outside, in the fresh air and the nature around you. It might be that you find spirituality in music, or in meditation or yoga, or in an art or craft that you do. Think about the activities that you do that really help you to clear your mind and set some goals around that. What you'll find when you're setting your goals for your different life areas is that a lot of them will tend to overlap. So it might be that one of your favourite spiritual times is when you're out walking down by the river or something and getting some fresh air. Walking, of course, also constitutes exercise. So it may be that your spiritual goal is to go walking down by the river maybe 2 or 3 times per week, but you also might have an exercise goal of, let's just say, 10,000 steps a day or something. And if that's the case, you can actually tie those 2 goals together, because of course your riverside walk is also going to count towards your 10,000 steps. So that walk is going to make you doubly happy because you're now on track for not just 1 but 2 goals. If we look at the life area of personal growth, it might be that you decide that you want to improve your public speaking, for example, and that would also tie in with your work and career goals, perhaps even your money goal as well. Maybe personal growth for you is something around singing or art, which might also tie in with the fun and recreational activities as well. So do you see, as you go through these, you can have a look to see where you can actually overlap your goals, because the idea behind leading a happy and fulfilled life is to have a holistic view of all of your life areas. Relationships. Again, think about how you can improve your relationships. This year has been particularly tough with regard to relationships because we've not been allowed to see one another, which has been really hard. And actually, a lot of us have kept in touch via Zoom and even improved our relationships with various family members because of that contact. Career and business goals, obviously you'll know what you do and what you want to do for those, and often they will tie in with your money goals as well. Fun and recreation is the holidays, it's the time on the golf course, it's the time spent with your family. What are you going to be doing in your leisure time? And as I said before, goals around that life area might well tie in with some of the other ones as well. Money. How are you going to improve your money situation in 2021? One thing I can definitely recommend that you do is to organise yourself a wealth planner, just like the one I showed you in the video just up here. So have a look at that if you haven't done that yet, because again, now is the perfect time of year to start sorting your finances out. Maybe you want to explore some different ways of creating wealth, and I have a video coming out on that next week, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for that one. Family, what are your family goals? Are you going to improve relationships with your family? How are you going to do that? Maybe you're starting a family. What exactly are your family goals for the next year? And that brings us nicely back around to the health goals and our original New Year's resolution, which was to lose weight. Because now that we've looked at the different life areas, we want to think about how we can actually set goals that we can actually keep for the year. Well, let's start off by looking at the wording of our current New Year's resolution. We said to ourselves, I want to lose weight. Now, if you've ever looked into the law of attraction, or you've ever watched The Secret film, or read the book, or you might have done some goal setting before, you'll probably know that we've got the wording wrong on our New Year's resolution here. A proper goal should always be written in the present tense, in the first person, and it must be positive. So if we look at what we've put down, which is I want to lose weight, okay, that's fine because that's first person, that's what we want, so the I is okay. Want to. Now that is future tense, we want to do something, but actually when we're writing a goal, we want it to be in present tense. Wanting to do something sounds a little bit like a pipe dream, doesn't it? Whereas if I am, for example, so I am now in the here and now because it's present tense, that is a lot more solid. Then we've got lose weight. Now, lose is, I would say, quite a negative word. It has several different negative connotations. For example, to lose something means to misplace it. So you don't know where it's gone. That makes you feel anxious and fearful and worried about everything. And then the other connotation of the word lose is not to win. And of course, everybody wants to win, don't they? We all want to be able to achieve our goals. So whenever we set out setting goals for ourselves, we always want to use words that make us feel really good. The other thing about goals is that the more specific you can be about your particular goal, the more likely you are to hit it. So when you're setting your goals, really think hard about what you actually want to achieve. So in our I want to lose weight example, how much weight exactly do you want to lose? Be specific. So for example, let's say you weigh about 70 kilos-ish. I mean, that's roughly what I weigh. So let's say I weigh 70 kilos and I decide that I want to lose 5 kilograms. Okay, so rather than saying again, I want to lose 5 kilograms, I'm putting myself in the present tense. And rather than saying, I want to lose 5 kilos, I'm going to say, I am 65 kilograms. Does that make sense? So you always want to make sure it's positive, present, first person tense, and that you're making yourself feel good and being specific. And already when you say to yourself, I am or I weigh 65 kilos, that already begins to feel quite realistic and quite achievable. The 5 kilograms is measurable. You can work out how you're going to do that. So it might be that you do decide to join that gym and you're going to go for a few times a week and you're going to continually measure how much weight you've lost on a weekly or daily basis. You might also decide to eat more healthily. So it might be substituting white bread for brown bread, for example, or whole milk for semi-skimmed. So little things like that will help you on your journey to losing weight. And your goal of I am 65 kilos, or whatever your goal for you might be, will be much more achievable. You could also combine this goal with another goal that might help you to achieve that. So for example, earlier on, we looked at our 3 riverside walks per week. So if you add those in as well, that activity of walking, that's also going to help you to hit that 65 kilogram target. And before you know it, you'll be well on your way to smashing that goal. Now, another thing I will say is make sure that you write your goals down. You need to be able to see them in writing. Even if they're really long-term goals and you think there's no way I could achieve that this year, let's say it might be saving up a deposit for your first house to live in, or it might be if you've already got a house, you want to pay your mortgage off. You might not be able to do that in a year, but even if it's a long-term goal, you can still then chunk it down into smaller goals that might be achievable for you this year. Maybe saving a certain amount this year or paying off a certain percentage of your mortgage, for example. Another thing you want to do is once you've written your goals down, you want to look at them all the time, every day, without fail. Keep reminding yourself what you're trying to achieve. A good idea is to visualise where you want to be, the sort of person you want to become, the house you want to live in, and so on. And the more clearly you can see that in your mind's eye, the much more likely it is to come to fruition. If you can draw it, all the better. Or it might be, if you've got some pictures, you might want to create yourself a vision board. That way you can really visualise the end result. And I'm going to do a video on vision boarding on New Year's Eve, because I think it's really important to have a vision board going into the new year, especially when you're doing all your goal setting. And talking about vision boarding, that is why I absolutely love this planner so much, because there's actually a space in here for you to create your own vision board and carry it around with you wherever you go, wherever you take your planner. So I've written all my goals in here and got my vision board so I can actually see where I want to go and look at it all the time. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Do drop me a comment underneath about what your goals are going to be for 2021. I'm going to be sharing mine in a couple of weeks when I do the vision board video, so look out for that one. Do subscribe to the channel for that as well, by the way, and if you hit the bell next to it, then you'll get notified every time a video comes out, which is normally Thursday mornings at 9 o'clock. In the meantime, do have a watch of these two videos up next, because they will definitely help with your wealth journey. Thanks ever so much for watching this one, guys. Do stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.